Hi boys and girls, this is Mr. Bedley and we are going to be doing 6th grade Excel lesson number 3. Make sure you pay real close attention. We're going to be going through a lot of different math concepts today. This is mostly review from 5th grade Excel, but from several different lessons. So there's going to be a lot to learn here today. And the topic is going to be algebraic equations. The equal symbol, we're starting right here, let's try that again. Okay, the equal symbol means equal to. That means that both sides of an equation that have the same value. So 6 and 2 is equal to 8. That is true. That equal symbol is representative of what's really going on here. The not equal symbol, which looks like that, means it's not equal to. So if I wrote 6 plus 2 is not equal to 9, that would be true because 6 plus 2 is 8 and 9 is 9. And those are not equal to each other. An equation is a number statement with an equal symbol. If a number statement is true, the value on the right side will equal the value on the left side. If both sides are equal, both sides are not equal, the number statement is not true. It is called an inequality. In means not, so it's a not equality. It's not equal. You must replace the equal sign with a not equal sign, a greater than sign, or a less than symbol for the statement to be true. Let's take a look at what this would look like here. So, number 1, 7 times 3, everybody write 21 right there, okay? And then 4 times 5, write 20 right there. And now let's decide, is this symbol in the middle the correct symbol? Is 21 not equal to 20? Yes, that is true. So we put a T there. We're trying to determine if this symbol in the middle is the correct symbol. If it's correct, write a T. If it's not correct, you're going to write an NT. Don't put that on number 1, but just so you understand, you're going to put an NT if it's not correct. All right, I'm going to show you equations for numbers 2 and 3 now. And you're going to go ahead and copy those onto your paper. You might want to pause the video while you're writing those down. So there they are. If you need to pause to write them, then feel free to do that. Number 2, you're going to write 2 times 5 is less than 9 times 1. And number 3, you're going to write 4 plus 9 is greater than 6 plus 6. All right, now what I want you to do is pause the video, and I want you to write what each side is equal to right down in here, and then write either T or NT, whether the symbol is true or it's not true. All right, so go ahead and pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solutions. So you should have already solved these. Right down here under the 2 times 5, you should have written 10. Under the 9 times 1, you should have written 9. And then you look at the symbol and you say, is that symbol the correct one? Is 10 smaller than 9? Well, no, that's not true. Should be the other way around. So we're going to put NT on there. Did you write NT? You have to have NT on your paper, and you have to have 10 and 9 on your paper. So fix that if it's not on your paper now. All right, number 3 you should have already done, and you should have written a 13 down here, and then you should have written a 12 here, and then you look at that symbol, and is 13 bigger than 12? And the answer, of course, is yes, 13 is bigger than 12, so you should write a T down there. If you did not put a T with the 13 and the 12, fix your paper right now. Oh, and don't forget to put your number dash name on your paper up here if you haven't done that yet. And don't forget to put today's date, which probably is not that date. Make sure you get the right date. All right, continuing along, here we go with the next section under the dotted line. We're looking right here. We're going to try to figure out what number would fit for n on both sides of this equation. So we have an equation, has an equal sign. N times 4 is equal to 6 plus n. The way that we're going to solve this for right now, before you get into higher grades, is we're just going to guess and check. We're guessing, and then we're checking to see if it works. Remember, both sides have to be equal if I pick the correct number for n. So let's start with the lowest number, lowest positive number, or, I guess 0 is not really positive or negative, but let's start with 0. All right, so let's plug in 0 to the n side here, or to this first n. 0 times 4 is, of course, equal to 0. And then let's plug the same 0 into the other side because it's n also over here on the right side. 6 plus 0 is equal to 6. So if I plug a 0 in, I get 0 on one side and I get 6 on the other. Or is 0 equal to 6? Well, no. So 0 does not work. Now let's try the number 1. Is 1 times 4 equal to 6 plus 1? No, because 1 times 4 is equal to 4, and 6 plus 1 is equal to 7. So 1 does not work. Do you see I'm just picking numbers, I'm guessing, and then I'm checking to see if that number works. Let's go to 2. If I plug 2 in on the left side, 2 times 4, well, that's equal to 8. And then I plug in 2 on the right side, 6 plus 2, that's also equal to 8. So I discover that 2 works on both sides. And so what I'm going to do is write the problem like this. I've kind of made a mess here. Let me do it again. N times 4 equals 6 plus n. I'm going to put 2 and 2 above the n's to show that I'm plugging a 2 in there. And then 2 times 4, I'm going to write an 8 down here, equals 6 plus 2 is equal to 8. 8 equals 8, so 2 works. Now notice that the answer to this problem is 2. N is equal to 2. A lot of kids will put 8 for the answer. Well, no, both sides equal 8 once I plug the 2 in for n, but the question is asking what is n equal to? N in this case would be equal to 2. Now depending on the problem, the letters in the problem can be all different numbers. As soon as you switch to a different equation, the letter might mean a different number. All right, let's try number 4 down here together, okay? So we have n times 2 equals 6 minus n. This is kind of like the last one. It's got an n here, but notice that n's probably going to be equal to something. Oh, it looks like they gave us the answer here. It does coincidentally come out to be the same number. But let's take a look why. Let's try 0 in here. If we put 0 in for both n's, 0 times 2 is 0. 6 minus 0 is equal to 6. So 0 and 6 are not equal to each other. Then we try the number 1. We put 1 times 2 and 6 minus 1. 1 times 2 is 2. 6 minus 1 is 5. And 2 is not equal to 5, so 1 doesn't work. Then we try the number 2, and we put a 2 here. Go ahead and write that on your paper right now. Put a 2 above that n. 2 times 2 is 4. And then 6 minus 2, put a 2 right there, is also equal to 4. I want everybody to write 4 equals 4 right there. Pause the video if you need to do that to keep up with me. Make sure that's on your paper. I'm going to be checking for that when I look over your work. So the answer is n equal 2. That 2 would go in the check answer when you're on the guided practice and homework side. All right, why don't you pause the video and give number 5 a shot on your own and then turn it back on to see if you got it right. So for number 5, you should have already done this. We have x times 5 is equal to x plus 0. And the first number we try is 0. When I plug a 0 in here, 0 times 5 is 0, and 0 plus 0, whoa, come on now, come on. Okay, there we go. 0 plus 0 is also equal to 0. So when I plug a 0 in, both sides come out to be 0, and x is equal to 0. We got wild zeros on that one. Should have nothing but zeros written all over the place for number 5. Fix your paper if you don't have that, and then try number 6. Pause the video, turn it back on when you're ready to see the solution. So let's go through numbers here. We'll start with 0. If I plug in 0 to b, 9 plus 0 is 9. 0 times 4 is 0. 9 is not equal to 0, so 0 doesn't work. Now we try 1. 9 plus 1 is 10. 1 times 4 is 4. 1 does not work. Now we try 2. 9 plus 2 is 11. 2 times 4 is 8. That does not work. Now we try 3. 9 plus 3 is 12. And 3 times 4 is 12. So 3 works because both sides come out equaling 12. Make sure you have 3's above the b's. b is equal to 3. And when I plug the 3 into the equation as the b, I get 12 on this side and 12 on that side, and 12 is equal to 12. Remember, the 3 is the answer to the problem. The 12 equals 12 is simply your show work. All right, numbers 7, 8, and 9 are blank. We are going to look to replace the blank letter with a number to make the equation true. you see absolutely no problems here. So I'm going to show you what you're going to write in those spots. We're going to do number 7 together, and then you'll try 8 and 9 on your own. Here are the equations. So why don't you pause the video and go ahead and copy these down, or you can listen to me. I'm going to say what they are, and you can just write them without even looking up at the screen. 15 divided by r is equal to 9 minus 6. That's number 7. 15 divided by r equals 9 minus 6. Number 8 is blank minus 4 equals 9 minus 3. Hopefully your writing is a little neater than mine with my stylus on an iPad. It's a little tricky, but blank minus 4 equals 9 minus 3. And then number 9, I want you to write 3 plus 4 equals blank minus 2. 3 plus 4 equals blank minus 2. All right, so how do we solve these? We're going to rewrite the equation as 15, write this down below, divided by r equals, now instead of writing 9 minus 6, I've already got that written. I've already got 15 divided by r equals 9 minus 6. What would be the point of writing that whole thing again? Instead, I'm going to say what 9 minus 6 actually is. I'm going to change the 9 minus 6 into a 3. So now you can see I have a pretty simple equation here of 15 divided by some number equals 3. And so r would be equal to 5, right? R equals 5 because 15 divided by 5 is equal to 3. All right, pause the video and try number 8. Make sure you show your work just like I did on 7, and then turn it back on to see the solution. All right, so you should have already done just number 8, and you should have rewritten the equation as blank minus 4 equals not 9 minus 3, but 6. All right, what number goes in that blank? I bet some of you might have put 2 in there. And you're getting confused with addition. 2 plus 4 is 6, but 2 minus 4 is not 6. And if you don't believe me, hold up 2 fingers right now and then try to take 4 fingers away from that 2. It's not going to be 6 fingers. So what the actual answer is going to be bigger than 4 and bigger than 6 because I have to take 4 away from this big number to go down to 6. So if we think about that, 10 works. 10 take away 4 is equal to 6. Fix your paper if you have that wrong, and then go ahead and try number 9. Make sure you have this problem written down below. Pause the video and turn it on when you're ready to see the solution. All right, so for this one, it's a little different. We should have written down below 7 instead of 3 plus 4 equals blank minus 2. Again, I bet some of you wrote 5 for the answer to this one. 5 is not the correct answer. 5 plus 2 is equal to 7, but 5 minus 2 is equal to 3. So that doesn't work. So it's got to be a number that's bigger than 2, bigger than 7, where I can take 2 away from it and get 7, and that number would be 9. 9 take away 2 is the same thing as 7. Pause the video and fix it if you did that wrong. All right, moving on. For these problems, letters are used to represent the numbers. To find the answers, replace the letters with the numbers they represent. So these are actually the easiest problems that you're going to see in the lesson. M is equal to 8, N is equal to 2. So if I put an 8 in there for M and a 2 in for N, then I have really 8 divided by 2, which of course is 4. The answer to that one is 4. Copy my work there onto your paper, and then pause the video and try number 11. All right, some kids get in a big hurry and they write a 3 for L and a 9 for K, but that's not what it says. K is equal to 3. You should put 3 here. And L is equal to 9. You should have put 9 there. So really what this problem is saying is 9 minus 3. 9 minus 3, of course, is equal to 6. All right, moving on to the next section. In this inequality, something that's not equal, right? An equation that's not equal, which number can be moved to change the not equal sign to an equal sign? These are little puzzles, all right? We'll see how to do these in just a second. Determine the number that needs to be moved, should say, so the not equal sign can change to equal. Circle the number and write the new number sentence. All right, so here's how you do these. This is a little tricky here. You are going to pick a number on one of these sides to move to the other side. So first of all, the way you show your work is you solve for each side. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. Everybody write an 11 right there. You're not going to have any of these to do on your own, so you're really going to need to pay attention to this. And then the other side is 6 plus 8, which is 14 plus 3, which is 17. Write a 17 over there. That means that this side over here with the 17 is a lot bigger than the other side. I've got to move a number over to the other side to make it equal. I'm going to move the 6, the 8, or the 3. Which one would make it equal? Now, some of you are probably thinking move the 6 because this side is 6 bigger than the other side. Problem is, if I move the 6, now this side will be equal to 11, and this side will be equal to 17. They still won't be equal. So how about if we move the 3? You have to circle the number. A lot of kids forget to circle that number that they're moving. And by the way, that number goes in your check answer, the one you circled. And then you're going to rewrite the equation. This is how you show your work. As 3 plus 6 plus 2. You see that's already there on the left side. And then add the 3 that I'm moving from the other side over to the left side. And then write equals. Now it actually is equal 6 plus 8. Now I want to solve both sides of this equation just to check. And I have to show this down below here. 3 plus 6 is 9. 9 plus 2 is 11. 11 plus 3 is 14. Everybody write a 14 right there. And then write equals. And 6 plus 8 is also 14. Notice all the show work here. 1 piece of show work. 2 right here, rewriting the equation with the number moved. And 3, proving that both sides are equal now. And the answer has to be shown as well as a circled number. Very complicated. You might want to watch that part again. All right, last but not least, I know this is a long lesson, hang in there. If you had the equation 3 times 4 minus 2 equals, would you first multiply the 3 and the 4, or first subtract the 2 from the 4? Well, the answer is that according to PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, these go together, add and subtract, these go together. We have to do the multiplication before we do the subtraction. Okay, so that's explained to you down here. We do the parentheses. They don't talk about exponents because you're not going to see that until later, but this is what you're going to learn as you go through middle school and high school. PEMDAS, parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract from left to right. So we have to do the multiplication first. And before that, we have to do the parentheses first. So 3 times 4 is equal to 12, and 12 minus 2 is equal to 10. This is the correct solution. If you did it wrong, if you did the 4 minus 2 first, then you would get 2 for 4 minus 2, and 3 minus 2 is 6. The actual solution to this equation is 10. If you were to write 6, you would get it wrong. Okay, so the proper order is to multiply first and then do the addition or the subtraction. Or you could also do division first. But before we do any of that, we have to do the parentheses. Parentheses always mean do me first. All right, these next types of problems give kids such trouble every single year. So see if you can not be that kid. Here we go, number 13. 2 plus 3 times 2 equals n plus 5. That's your original equation. This is a big, long, complicated equation, and we want to then simplify the equation, make the equation more simple so that we can clearly and easily see the answer. How do we do that? I'm going to take the side that has the n plus 5 and just simply copy that down below. There's no way I can combine an n with a 5. Without knowing any other information. You know, what is n plus 5? It's just n plus 5. So I copy the n plus 5 right here. The other side of the equation, however, I can simplify all of this. 3 times 2 is equal to 6. And then we add the 2. 2 plus 6 is equal to 8. So I'm going to simplify all of this stuff here and just call that 8. Now I have a number sentence, an equation that has 8 equals n plus 5. That is easy to solve. N is equal to 3, obviously. 3 plus 5 is 8. You must show your work by simplifying all equations that are big, long equations down to being just like this. You should have 2 actual numbers in your simple equation and a missing number. That's what I want to see on all of these. If you need help, come talk to me, but they always have to have 2 simple numbers and a missing number, and you have to keep everything in the same order that it was in the original problem. There we go. I just erased all those marks. So the original problem was 2 plus 3 times 2 equals n plus 5. I simplified that all down in the same order. Notice that this left side stayed on the left and became 8, and the right side stayed on the right and just was n plus 5. I didn't change anything there. And so I rewrote the equation as a simpler, smaller equation. All right, let's do 14 together. These are hard, and see if you can kind of maybe stay one step ahead of me. But what I'm going to do to rewrite this one, there's no way I can simplify 15 minus y, so I'm just going to write 15 minus y here. Notice it came straight down. The 15's right below the 15, subtraction right below the subtraction, y right below the y. Then I want you to write equals. Now all of this can be simplified into one number because 3 plus 4 is 7. 0 times, now that is 7. 0 times 7 is simply 0. So write 15 minus y equals 0. What number can go in the place of y and make that true? Well, I'm going to say that y equals, some of you might be thinking the answer is 0. 15 minus 0 is not 0. 15 minus 15 is equal to 0. All right, now it's your turn to try it on your own. Good luck. Pause the video and do number 15 and then turn it back on to see the solution. All right, here's how you should have solved all of this. This is a little more complicated problem. 8, let's do the parentheses first. 8 minus 1 is 7. If you didn't write a 7 up there, do that now. 2 times 4 is 8. If you didn't write an 8 there, do that now. Okay, let's take a look at the whole left side of the equation over here. Can I make this simpler than what it is now? I've got 2 plus, this is actually 7. I can make that into one number. I don't need to leave that as 2 plus 7. I can just call that a 9. So that should be on the left side. Then next is the equal sign, notice. And then over here, this became 8 plus blank. I can't really simplify that. 8 plus blank. Notice I have two numbers, here and here, and a missing number. That's always the short equation. It's always going to have two numbers, real numbers, and a missing number, and it's always going to be in the same order. The easy part is getting the answer. 1. 8 plus 1 is equal to 9. Thanks for watching.